buy your friends, right? Buy your friends. You probably, what did Chris just say? Buy your friends? Yeah, buy your friends.
Clarify that for us.
Anything that's free is not valuable. Your friends you pay for help you make money. They provide knowledge. They provide value. They help you live a better life.
What makes somebody successful, and what are the traits of the people that try and maybe don't succeed?
But for the majority of us, we get beat down. We get, told we're stupid. We get told that we're no good. And we end up thinking that and carrying that along with us. So we believe that. Why? Because you don't believe in yourself and you're not confident enough to actually take that information. The first thing you need to do, guys, is you got to work on mind, body, spirit. The problem is you have such low self-esteem. You want to be told what you want to hear, not what you need to hear.
What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and you're in for a treat with today's video. I've got a special surprise guest, Chris Rood. If you guys aren't familiar with Chris Rood, he's been crushing it in almost everything real estate investing. We originally crossed paths back in 2018 when he was one of the premium sponsors for OREC 2018, a real estate conference myself and Jeff Weibo hosted. Anyways, enough backstory. I'm really excited to share today with you Chris's talk from Cashflow Tribe's Tribal Summit. This was a special 2-day event that we did really just to celebrate Canadian real estate investing, host the best party Canadian real estate investors have ever seen, and we were fortunate enough to have Chris join us and be a guest for a impromptu kind of panel and discussion. Chris is a very blunt and matter-of-fact speaker. I really love it about him. I love his openness and honesty and just his matter-of-fact way of speaking. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and let's dive into the amazing speech Chris Rood is going to drop for us.
Chris Rood, born and raised from Louisiana, has made a huge impact in the real estate market in the United States of America, becoming one of the most skilled wholesalers in the game, with special tactics such as wholesaling, which has earned himself the title of being a multi-millionaire in real estate. Chris Rood is a platinum sponsor for 10X GrowthCon, also has his own show on Grant Cardone TV. This is Chris Rood.
All right. So welcome back. And I've actually got my mentor in the house, somebody who is a wholesale just master, especially in the United States. And I've got my mentor, Chris Rood, who's also a phenomenal personal development coach. He was the Platinum Growth sponsor for Grant Cardone's 10X 2 years in a row. So Chris, welcome so much, man. And welcome to the summit here. How are you, my brother?
Thank you, man. I feel like you got a little miniature 10X going right here. It's an honor to be able to get on this virtual stage with you and just help people and give value and just, man, this is awesome. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. So for folks that don't have the full backstory here, when I first got started, I was a completely different person. Would you say, Chris, a couple of years ago? And I met you at GrowthCon, and I told, I walked right up to you, said, hey, man, listen, I am the baddest Canadian you've ever met. And I don't know what I don't know, but I need to make something happen because you're obviously doing something I'm not. So, Chris, why don't you jump in and kind of talk to us, man? And for folks that have never met Chris, chrisrood.com, he's been very inspirational. He's had a lot of mentorship students in the States. And Chris knows why people don't succeed. Chris has been at this game long enough. So maybe, Chris, would you start with a little bit of your story, brother, to just kind of get people caught up to date here? Yeah,
serial entrepreneur, my whole life, very hard-headed, couldn't really conform much. Always was, an outlier, always doing, when everybody went right, I went left. And I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit and drive in me. Always wanted to help people and just had a big purpose to do something bigger than myself and help people do the same, right? So I was like, look, I'm gonna get massive attention. I'm gonna get noticed. The only way to get noticed is to, buy your friends, right? Buy your friends. You probably, what did Chris just say? Buy your friends. Yeah, buy your friends.
Clarify that for us, man. What do you mean buy your friends? Because I know this is a hard concept for some people when friends are usually free.
You got to pay to play, guys. Anything that's free is not valuable. Think what I just said. Your friends that you have for free that don't add no value, they're not valuable. They're not helping you. They're probably giving you a bunch of hangovers. That's the value they bring to you. Your friends you pay for help you make money. They provide knowledge. They provide value. They help you live a better life. And those kind of friends cost money. And those will be the best friends you'll ever have. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about. I'm here to talk to you about people, circumstances, your environment, personal development, how you as an individual are probably not going to be successful. And that's the hard, cold truth that 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs are not successful. And there's a big reason why most entrepreneurs are not successful.
So
and
go ahead. So let's jump into this, Chris, because what makes somebody successful as a real estate investor? Because you've been extremely successful with mobile homes and multifamily and even in the wholesaling space. And there's a reason why Grant was willing to have you on the show and have a video with you. What makes somebody successful, and what are the traits of the people that try maybe don't succeed?
Well, what makes somebody successful is it's not one thing, right? It's going to be a combination of things done consistently over time. And your biggest problem is probably confidence in yourself and belief that you can actually do something of substance. But if you undercut that and you back that up, what causes confidence and belief? And a lot of that boils down to your personal development. How much personal development have you had before that? Some people are born into families where they've been raised in a sense where they're always brought up and they're nourished and they're like told they can do anything. And they're like, hey, that they grow up with a belief system, knowing and thinking that they can actually do whatever they want to do. But for the majority of us, we get beat down. We get, told we're stupid. We get told that we're no good. And we end up thinking that and carrying that along with us. So we believe that. And we were not necessarily primed enough and personally developed enough to implement information that we're given to actually be successful, right? So what I'd like to talk to you guys about today is the importance of personal development. Like, yeah, this is a real estate conference and all that, and that's great. Real estate is just information. It's specific knowledge on how to make money, but most of you guys won't even take that information and run with it. Why? Because you don't believe in yourself and you're not confident enough to actually take that information. Most people are not personally developed enough to implement the information they're actually given. So Chris, how do you probably say, when you're talking all this shit, Chris, like, be specific. What can I do to actually get more personal development? That's what I'm here to tell you. So I'm going to run through this. This could probably be a 2-hour thing for me, but I have to kind of condense it into 20 minutes now. But I'm going to give you as much content as I possibly can. The first thing you need to do, guys, is you got to work on mind, body, spirit. That's the cornerstone. That's the basics of who you are. You have a body. You sit in a body right now. You have a mind that you think with, and you are a spiritual being. And some of you guys that are atheists may be like, hey, I don't have that third one. I just got that. Hey, whatever is your belief. But most people on this planet believe that you're a spiritual being. Most religions believe you're a spiritual being. So if you break those things down individually and you work on them, let's take mind, right? Let's take the mind. Your mind is like your body in a sense. It has to eat. It is hungry. It is hungry for content. What kind of content you put in that mind is going to depend on, how you were raised and what you're interested in. So if you're consuming content, like maybe you watch freaking video, you play video games all day, that's going to be the content you're experiencing. Dude, the product of what you're eating, video games, is going to be a byproduct of what your life's going to be, right? So if all you do is consume video games, dude, your life's going to be shit. You need to be reading books, right? You need to be reading books on how to get better. I recommend, there's a few books like The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy that goes over, your routines and habits. The Slight Edge is a phenomenal book on how to change your life. Grant Cardone's 10X Rule is a phenomenal book. The Science of Getting Rich is a phenomenal book. Psycho-Cybernetics, all these different books so when you're reading these books, words is food. Words are food. And when you digest these words, they stick in your subconscious mind and you start acting on what you're reading. Now, body, guys, if you're not taking care of your body, dude, you're gonna dramatically slow yourself down to where you're not gonna be able to keep up with high performance people, right? When I say high performance people, somebody that I don't work out for muscles. I don't work out because I want to go to the beach and try to attract females and all that. Yeah, when you're younger, you may do that. But guys, when you are exercising, you're taking care of yourself, you have way more energy. And let's just face it, at the end of the day, like if you ain't got a lot of energy, you're not going to be a high performance entrepreneur. It takes so much energy to do what you do. Look what Ben and what Matt are doing. Like this is a lot of organization, a lot of energy, a lot of focus. And if you're you're, maybe grossly overweight. And this is not a knock on people that are overweight. I used to be overweight. I think everyone in a lifetime for the most part might've been overweight. Right. So you have to get yourself in line. Like you need to look at maybe doing fasting. I'm a big intermittent faster, right? Total game change. You don't need to eat 6 meals a day, guys. You don't need to eat 6 meals a day. You could live off of 1 or 2 meals a day, and it'll give you so much energy. When you freaking eating 6 meals a day, you're taking, every time you put food in your stomach, it takes away energy from your body to digest all that food. When all that blood and energy could go to your mind and to help you think, right? Now that takes, I'm not here to give you an intermittent fasting disposition on all that because I don't have enough time. Look into it. Spiritual side of it, guys. Like, dude, you're going to have to get your ethics right. I look at the spiritual side as an ethics thing. You can't see it, but you do it, right? The spiritual side of ethics is helping people, right? Doing the right thing, having good intentions. If you don't have all 3 of these corners lined up, maybe you're real, you're a real religious guy. Get right with Christ or your God, whoever it is, right? And that's going to help you, those 3 corners. Now, the next triangle I want to talk about is knowledge, ethics, and environment, right? Knowledge, you got to get the right information on how to be successful, right? You guys are listening to freaking sometimes YouTube stars who have 500,000 followers, but they ain't even got $500,000 in their bank account or $500,000 net worth. That's a problem, right? That's a problem. You need to be listening to people that are actually doing stuff, that are actually making money, who can help, who are actually good at what they do, right? So make sure you get the right information. If you're here, you're getting the right information. I know Ben and Matt personally. They're both great guys. They both do really well, and they both have what you're looking for. So you're on that track of finding, because there's information and there's knowledge, guys. There's a sea of information. Information is just like basic facts and statements. Knowledge is the applied information that actually gives you an outcome or an effect that you're looking for. There's a difference, right? Then you have, that's one side of the triangle. Then you have ethics, right? You get people that get the right information, they start implementing, they start doing well in life, but then they start having an ethics issue, meaning they can't do the right thing, and they end up screwing people, or they're snakes, or they do shit that's unethical. And what happens, they wreck their whole life. You ever meet those people that actually do really well? They start making millions of dollars, and it goes to their head, and they start doing cocaine and going to the titty bars and freaking cheating on their wives. They wreck their life. Why? Because they lost ethics, right? So it goes the right information, knowledge, ethics, and then this is the most important part of the triangle at the top. It's called environment, right? This is probably the single most important, environment. You have to be around the right people. Like, if I could tell you anything out of all these, like if you're maybe feel like, man, I'm just not that smart, I'm not that talented, I feel like I can't do anything right. If you put yourself in an environment where everybody's doing well and who are high performance achievers, you will level up by default. Like, there's no way around it. Like, you can't be around a bunch of people without, there's an old story that goes, and there's a story that said that there was a boy one time, a little boy that got dropped off in the woods. And I'm not making this up. You can Google it. It may be fantasy, but it was told to the degree that basically a little boy was dropped off in the woods with a bunch of wolves, with the baby wolves. And the mama lost the baby for a year. And after a year, they found the little boy. And what happened? He was barking like a dog and acting like a wolf, right? So you are your environment. Like, if you put me around a bunch of gangsters, I'm gonna turn into a gangster, right? You put me around a bunch of billionaires, I might turn into somebody that's worth a couple $100 million. Maybe I turn into a billionaire. You have to stay around the right people, right? Stay around, because let's go back to knowledge. You have the right knowledge, you have the right ethics, you have those two in sync, but then you get around the wrong people, you could be making a bunch of money, they're gonna wreck your life. How many people you've heard of, they partner up with the wrong people, or they get around the wrong people, and that group of people or that individual person wrecks their life because they're not around the right environment. So there's not one thing that you're going to do, guys. Like, you got to learn all these separate things to really improve your life, right? And if you work on these things and you stay disciplined, and that's probably the biggest thing that you can take out of this, for personal development too, besides your environment, is there's going to be a sacrifice, and there's going to be some discipline involved in trying to evolve yourself. Like, because you've been told your whole life, once you're a certain person, you always got to be that person, or you don't want to change because you may outgrow your friends. Guys, if you got the same friends from high school, I'm sorry, but you're on the struggle bus. You have to evolve. You need to get new sets of friends. You need to buy into groups. You need to buy your friends, buy into masterminds, buy Ben's program, get around high-level guys, because the people that you're looking for are looking for you too, right? They're looking for you too. And you guys are not going to all, because if you're on this, you're trying to get better. You're trying to do something bigger than yourself. And you feel like you can't find people that are like you. Dude, everybody that you're looking for is probably on this webcam right now. And they're trying to do the same thing you're doing, because it's hard to find high level achievers. Dude, if you get around to somebody that's not trying to think big, they will bash you, right? They will criticize you. You can't hang around a bunch of, you can't hang around a bunch of clowns, right? Because you're gonna turn into the clown show. You can't have high level conversations with low level people. And that sounds kind of shitty, but it's the truth. Try to go have a conversation with somebody that's not reaching for the stars or reaching for their potential. They're gonna look at you like you're crazy. Now, the conversations I have with my friends, we don't talk about the past. We don't talk about the present. I don't care about the, what the ice hockey did or the MLB or the football. I don't have those conversations. I don't talk about the rookie of the year or this. I don't care. Like, all these people worried about statistics of sports and stuff is because they're not living to their greatest potential. They're not living in purpose. And they're looking at other people that are living up to their potential, and they freaking glorify those people. Sports athletes, all these people. Like, I don't care about all those people. Like, I'm worried about my own athletic achievement in the entrepreneurial world and living up to my potential, right? All these people worry about other people's stats in football. Dude, worry about your own stats. Get around people that are actually trying to improve their own personal stats in their business and in their life, right?
Hey, Chris,
so
would you say, Chris, that a rising tide lifts all boats? And I heard this thing that, poor-minded people, and I'm not saying financially, but poor-minded people, they talk about people. Middle-class minded or middle-class people, they talk about the stuff that they have, the cars, the houses, whatever. And then wealthy people, they talk about ideas, they talk about growth, mastermind, collaboration.
Cashflow Tribe. We're also, I guess, limited by our own belief system. And I think Cashflow Tribe opens you up to a lot more possibilities. And I want other people to just even see it, right? So they can believe it for themselves.
Even if you think that you know everything about real estate, you don't. Like meeting new people, like you always hear different stories. And, like having 15, 20, 30 people with different mindsets. They have different experiences, like that's so powerful. And meeting this people, like for me, it's priceless. It's priceless. The 2,500 doesn't even come close.
At least I've had the mindset change over the last couple of months. I know the questions to ask. I know the things to do. I also have a team behind me that if I don't know some answers, I can ask. And they've been so helpful just to answer those questions and make me feel at ease.
Oh, it was something that I needed. I found that I already had properties. I was very stagnant. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity.
It's just a mindset, right? It's a mindset change. Our own limited belief, my fears that I had, and how to overcome them.
Just want to get rid of my limiting beliefs, network, grow, be around like-minded people. 1 year from now, I feel I will get rid of all those limiting beliefs, start doing more deals, more networking, just completely grow.
Poor-minded people, and I'm not saying financially, but poor-minded people, they talk about people. Middle-class minded or middle-class people, they talk about the stuff that they have, the cars, the houses, whatever. And then wealthy people, they talk about ideas, they talk about growth, mastermind, collaboration, revenue. So I've heard that you can gauge who you're talking to by the level of conversations. You don't have to tell me you're talking to broke people. I'll just know by what you're talking about. So for what happened for me was I just got tired of, I couldn't find the people in my circle here locally that could talk to about these high level things and push me to grow. Because you're right, when you get into the right room, you're going to be forced to level up. That's just how it goes. So that's the issue you have, is you just don't have the right friends or the right people around you. So would you agree with that concept though, that if you're talking about stuff or other people or Tiger King, then you're not talking with the right people? Like there's no way you're going to be able to become a successful real estate investor or successfully financially if you're not talking about successful real estate investing or with successful people who have done it.
Yeah, listen, crazy people talk about the past, guys, and they talk about people, like Ben said, you know, people that are just living life that exist are usually talking about the weather or their problems or the present time. People that are super sane, people that are actually trying to live up to their potential, talk about ideas, the future, circumstances, possibilities, and their potential, right? That's just how it is. You, just like Ben said, you can gauge somebody's overall demeanor by what they talk about and what they want to talk about, right? You got to have certain conversations, right? Have the right, when I get on the phone with my friends, which I want to make that clear. I don't have any friends. I'm saying that word to make it clear. I have allies. I don't need friends. If you need friends, you have low self-esteem and you want people to make you feel good about yourself. You need allies, guys. You need people to help you make more money. You need people to help bring value to life, and you need to do the same to them. Like I said earlier, your friends probably, what's the byproduct of having a friend? They give you a hangover. They talk about this, or they're not honest with you. They don't tell you the truth. You need people like Ben and Matt who are going to actually tell you the truth. If you're fucking up, excuse my language, they're going to tell you, hey, dude, like, get your head out your ass and do this, this, and this, and watch what's going to happen to your life. You need to be told that. But the problem is you have such low self-esteem. You want to be told what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. There's a difference. Your allies and people that you're going to network with in a mastermind are going to tell you what you need to hear, and you'll be better for it in the future, right? But it takes some humbleness. It takes you to come down to zero and realize, man, I know that I don't know. And once you know that you don't know, you can then grow, right?
Chris,
and that's personal.
Yeah, could you walk us through like your story a little bit? Because I think this is so powerful, and as it ties in your overall journey there. Like, you were an entrepreneur basically as a little kid. You were ADHD, ADD. They pumped you full of drugs. Like, talk about maybe some people who think, hey, this looks like it's pretty easy or good for Chris, but I can't relate to him, or I can't relate to Matt and Ben, or I'm brand new to the country, or I've been working at the same job for 30 years. So maybe it's not relatable. Could you just walk through your past a little bit? I think it's so relevant in this.
Yeah. I mean, look, I wasn't, I didn't have the perfect upbringing. I was a very, very energetic kid, lots of energy, couldn't really sit still. And, I got labeled ADD, ADHD, too hyperactive. They put me on Adderall and Ritalin at like 8 years old, which is what is Adderall and Ritalin? It's like legal crystal meth. I can't even believe they give that to kids, right? And it literally like almost warped my mind. Like, I was like a zombie. I could never be who I really was because I was just so strung out on drugs. Let's call it what it is. It's legal crystal meth. And I almost had to, from there, like I was searching for something to help me get back to my normal self, because I never felt normal up until 8 years old, right? When they pumped me for that stuff. And I knew I was entrepreneurial. And when I was in 4th and 5th grade, I was selling basketball and baseball cards out of my book sack, trying to make money. And I knew that I knew something wasn't right. Like, what I was being told in school and by just the normal everyday Joe, it didn't make any sense, right? It didn't make any sense. And from there, from when I got it right out of high school, I became a soul searcher. And I started becoming a seeker of knowledge. And that's what you guys should start. You need to become a seeker of knowledge. You want to start trying to find the truth about things. And how do you know when you find the truth? You start doing well in life. Listen, what I just said. When you have the truth, you'll start doing well in life because it's the exact path that you need to take. And your life will start aligning, and you'll start being happy again. You'll start doing well, right? If you have misguided information, you won't ever do well. Like, if you're on this live and you're like 30 years old, you're like, fuck, I've been fucking up. I haven't been to get my life right. Dude, you got the wrong information. You got the wrong information. That's all it is. And you're around the wrong people. You got the wrong knowledge. Maybe you have an ethics problem. Maybe you're overweight. Maybe you're consuming too much garbage in your mind. Maybe your spirituality is out of whack. Like, all these different things I just talked about, like, you have to get these things in order. It's not about the game of real estate. It's not about the game of entrepreneurship. Whatever your game may be, your game may be a landscaper, a lawn service guy, a window cleaner. That's just the game that we play. How well you play that game is going to depend on how well and how personally developed you are to implement information that you are given. You're going to have to be super disciplined, right? You're going to have some courage. You're going to have to be able to handle criticism. You have to be massively responsible. You know, you're going to have a lot of willpower. You're going to have to be super consistent. You're going to have to be persistent. You're going to have fanatical focus, right? You have to have good ethics. You have to have good intentions. You got to take massive action. You're going to have to execute. You're going to have a massive work ethic, right? If you're working 40 hours a week, I remember when I had a part-time job, right? You're going to have to be able to handle time, right? Time management, right? You have to be able to make decisions. You're going to have confidence. You're going to have to become more aware. And that's all personal development does. It makes you more aware, right? So those are some of the things that you're going to have to work on. Like it ain't just about the information about real estate or entrepreneurship. You need to have the basic fundamentals, the foundation. It's like trying to build a house without having a foundation. What is the foundation? The foundation is you. The best asset you have is not that apartment complex or that single family home you're renting out or that short-term vacation. It's rental. It's you. You are the best asset.
Let me ask you this, Chris. Was it hard when you got started with wholesaling? Because I know, just give people some perspective. You've done hundreds of deals, right? Hundreds of deals. You've got 5 children. Was it hard when you got started in this business? Did you struggle with it? And what was it like doing it with a family?
It was relatively, I'm being completely real with you. I always say it's hard because for most people it is hard. But for me, I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't hard at all. It was not that hard for me in a sense that I was willing to put in the work. I'm super disciplined. You know, yeah, I had 5 kids. I had, I was married, but my work ethic and my overall will to succeed superseded the barriers of how hard wholesaling is. I mean, is wholesaling hard? Yeah, it's hard in a sense if you're not personally developed enough to implement the information that you're given, right? Most of you guys go and put out 10 bandit signs and send out 100 letters like, man, this shit don't work.
Right.
Ben's program doesn't work. That shit, I quit, right? You're just not personally developed enough. And I know I keep repeating myself, but it's like, dude, you got to work on yourself, get around the right people. But wholesaling is going to be hard to the degree that how personally developed you are.
So it is, people are going to have to get uncomfortable though. Am I right, Chris? Like to get out there and make offers sometimes is hard. To get out there and ask people for money sometimes is hard. But I mean, what's harder, like continuing to go to the 9-to-5 job or right now with COVID sitting at home? I think sitting at home is hard. Like, how many of you folks are sitting at home are completely bored right now? And maybe right now you're restless. Maybe you're upset. Maybe you're thinking, I'd rather be at work than be sitting at home. But maybe you're frustrated and thinking, I never want to be in this position ever again. I don't want to be told you don't have a job now because something happened in the economy that I'm completely have no control over. What's harder, Chris? I mean, they're going to have to go through a little bit of discomfort now to be able to position themselves and their family financially later to never have to worry about another COVID. Because listen, folks, right now, I don't worry about COVID. My family's been financially independent for a while now. And that's my desire for everybody in Cashflow Tribe is that you don't have to go through this mental anguish and depression. But it's going to take some work, right, Chris?
No, I love that, I always like to say you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. To the degree that you can stay uncomfortable, you're going to scale your life because on the other side of fear is what you're looking for. Just reverse engineer everything. Ask yourself right now, everything you want right now, you will not do. Why? You're scared. It's fear, right? And you're not willing to get uncomfortable, right? That is a skill you have to develop to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. I constantly put myself in uncomfortable positions so that I can grow, right? You know, there's growth in the struggle, guys. The struggle is healthy. You need to put yourself in a position where you're going to struggle mentally because you will grow. Look at the body when you work out. What do? You break down the muscle when you work it out. You're putting the struggle on the weights trying to pick it up. What it's doing is breaking down the muscle so what it can rebuild. They ain't no different than your mindset, guys. It's no different for your mindset. And that's what you're working on, your mindset. That's 80% of this game. Break down the mental barriers in your mind and realize that you can go a lot further than you think you can, but it's going to be a little uncomfortable. You're going to struggle, but the struggle is healthy. I don't care what your college professor told you or your mommy or your daddy. Okay. You need to struggle. It's called character building, and do it on a gradient scale. Maybe you can't confront, investing in yourself. Just do it on a gradient scale. Right.
So just about anybody can get started, right, Chris? Like regardless of where they're at in life, the truth is they can start with one. Get that first deal done. So if you're at home right now thinking, man, I would just love to get one deal done. Listen, Mr. Humble and Mr. Rood, this sounds great, but I don't even know if I have the confidence to do real estate. Well, folks, when you get that first deal done, something magical happens in your mind. All of a sudden it goes from, is it possible, to now it's possible. And then you get excited, and then you want to do more deals. And we're going to jump into the tactical here in a few minutes of how to do wholesale deals. But when you finally get that first done, you become like Daniel Blagrove. It's like now you have massive confidence. And then you look back on before and say, wow, I can't believe I wasted so much time just getting to that first deal.
And can I be politically incorrect? Can I be politically incorrect right now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're Canadian, but go ahead, do what you got to do.
I'm from South Louisiana, guys, so we get real politically incorrect, right? It's no different than when you're trying to get laid for the first time. Like, man, I don't know if I want to do it. I'm scared. What if I'm not good at it? And you finally confront it because you want it bad enough, and you realize, man, that was awesome. And I want it all the time now. There's no different than getting your first deal, guys. There's no different than getting your first piece of ass and getting your first deal. Once you get that first deal done, it's like getting your first ass, like, oh my goodness, what have I been missing all these years that I was so scared of?
Well, there you go, folks. That's the honest truth, though. But, once you have it one time, though, like, the other thing that happens, too, is that first deal is so coveted, right, Chris? It's like it has luster. It's like we really we have a lot of desire about it. We have a lot of questions about it. We have a lot of maybe confusion about it. Once it's over, though. Now you're just on to deal number 2 and deal number 3, and there you go. Now you're building an empire. You don't even have time to think about the way you felt about deal number 1.
Yeah, it's like having like me having 5 kids. It ain't no big deal. You just keep having babies, right? After you get the first deal done. But no, guys, this is exactly right. Once you bust through that barrier of like, oh, I got a deal done, you realize, oh man, that was an invisible barrier I put up in my mind, not Ben or Matt or the real estate commission or this guru. Dude, it's all in your mind.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard. Embrace the hardness. You want it to be hard. That's what keeps the value up. The harder something is, or the more valuable, or the harder it is to get to, what happens is it stretches the value proposition of it. Why is gold and diamonds and oil and all this so valuable? Maybe not oil right now, but toilet paper is more valuable than oil. But why is gold and diamonds so valuable right now, just in general? Because it's hard to get. You got to mine for it. You got to go through the shit and all the crap and the barriers to get to. But once you get to it, it was hard to get to, and it's valuable. No different than real estate. I'm mining for gold every day, looking for deals like you are. But the problem between you and me is you don't mine long enough, and you're not willing to mine far enough to get to the gold, which is a deal.
Yeah.
You have to become more valuable internally so that you can provide value externally. You don't think you're valuable enough. Scale your personal development, build massive confidence, keep moving through this shit. It's going to suck. It's going to be hard. You'll get there.
I love it. And as you win in life, the confidence starts coming, folks. So what's really cool is that in the middle of doing the work and as you move through it, you gain more confidence because you gain more clarity. So you have a realistic expectation when you're in the middle of it. So after you write the first offer, the second offer, the third offer, then you know what that process is like, and it becomes commonplace. It becomes comfortable. So it's about taking the uncomfortable, making it comfortable, and then taking the uncomfortable, making it comfortable. So I have this thing about pushing towards the pain. Ben, I don't want to make calls. It's tough. Hey, listen, right now you're sitting at home. Everybody's got an hour right now. Everybody has an hour to sit around and make some phone calls and try to make $5,000 or $10,000 a month of income. Because let's be honest, folks, for a lot of you, $5,000 is life-changing. It really is. $5,000 a month means that you don't have to go back to that job if you don't want to. So when it's that important, what's the consequence of not doing it? The struggle, the consistent, I'm afraid because I can't put food on the plate this month, or I'm waiting for my government of Canada subsidy check because I don't have my income, or I've only got 55% of my income, or I'm sitting on EI at the moment, waiting for instead of waiting for the income, I really suggest, and I really push you, let's go create it. Let's go make it happen. There are plenty of deals out there. There's plenty of opportunity. You just have to be willing to put in the effort and make it happen. So Chris, any kind of last words of advice for folks? This has been such an awesome conversation, and we really appreciate you, man, for you being able to share your heart and your honesty with folks. And guys at home, I know the comments are turned off here. We'll turn them on for a second here, Hans. But as in Chris, just been absolutely amazing. Just such a great guest to be here and give so much value. Chris, what would you say as folks are kind of, thinking about all this stuff and processing the words that you're saying?
Yeah, guys, the last thing I can tell you is just look, work on yourself harder than you work on your business, and your business is going to grow by default. That's what I've always done. That's why I've been able to do what I've done as an entrepreneur. As a real estate investor, does it mean that everything I do is perfect? No, but I make a lot more things go right in my life by me working on myself harder than the actual business, right? And then from there, you need to work, once you get a team or you got people around you, help them get more personally developed. It's almost like getting pulled out of the matrix, right? You realize, man, I can change. I can get better and stop being sheep. Because guys, at the end of the day, there's a bunch of sheep out there and y'all following the sheep herder. Yeah. Okay.
And the sheep are broke, man. They're all going over a cliff. So as we kind of chime in, they're walking over the cliff right now. Let's be honest what it is. 3-4 weeks ago, they're all bad. And now they're all coming over the cliff. And maybe you realize, maybe you thought you were a wolf. You had a good job. You were making good money. You're providing stability for your family. Now your income is cut. Now you're worried if you're even going back to work. And maybe you woke up today and you realize, man, I'm actually a sheep. I'm not a wolf. So I would push you. It's time to become a wolf. It's time to really set yourself apart. And wolves don't wait for other people to give them the opportunity. They go out and they create it themselves. They take hold. They take control. At some point, it's about ultimate responsibility. Listen, if my family starves, it's my fault. If something happens in my circle of influence, it's my fault. When you take that level of commitment, just like Evan said, hey, I apologize for not meeting you up until now. Or I'm sorry that you're broke. It's my fault. Because you take ultimate responsibility for what's around you. And I think, Chris, you've done this. I think that's why you're so successful. So what does that look like, in your opinion, for folks that maybe are thinking, man, I need to level up my commitment here?
Yeah, you need to skill up, guys. Like you need to work on every aspect of your life. You're going to always fall back to your degree or level of training, right? At the end of the day, like there's no magic pill. Like you got to train, right? Personal development is training. Reading is training. Exercising is training. Working on yourself spiritually is training. Getting around the right people. You have to train. Like there's no easy way. You're all looking for the skill up, train up, and you're going to fall down to the level of a degree that you are skilled and trained, right? And that's all personal development is just skilling up on yourself and your environment and wanting to be better than who you are, right?
I love it. I love it. Chris, thank you so much for being here, man. Folks, for those of you that have got massive value so far, give me a quick thumbs up if you got massive value from my man, Chris. Talked about the book, The Slight Edge. By the way, Chris wrote a book called The Source of the Deal. sourcethedeal.com or chrisrood.com. You can grab a copy of that book. We're going to have these links and stuff for you guys throughout today. We're going to be jumping into some really tactical, wholesaling driven conversation here. So for those of you guys that have been looking for the tactical stuff, we're going to roll right into that right now. Chris, thank you so much, my brother. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us. And listen, folks, make sure you follow my man on social media, on Facebook. And this is the kind of people that you get around when you decide to level up. So I would really encourage you, join us at Cashflow Tribe, because these are the conversations we have, and these are the kind of people that we have. Right, Matt?
100%. This is just, again, the tip of the iceberg, but you are the average of the people you spend most time with. You are the sum of your inputs. I think you want guys like Evan and Chris to be part of your inputs.
Absolutely. All right, let's hit it. You ready? Okay, here we go. Hans?
That was fire, wasn't it? Smash the like button if you got value from it. And as long as you had your audio turned on, I don't know how you didn't get value from that. Would you guys like to see Chris Rood return on my YouTube channel? Jump in the comment sections, show him some love. I'm pretty sure we could maybe twist his arm and get him back on the channel. Maybe we could even get him to answer some of your questions. So jump in the comment section, hit us up. What questions would you like to see me ask Chris Rood on a future YouTube video? As well, if you didn't realize, this Tribal Summit is really just a snapshot of what we're doing with Cashflow Tribe. And we do these special, intensive 2-day weekend workshops. And these, we get really deep. I actually do real live deal analysis. So Cashflow Tribe members share live deals that they're looking at, and I tear them apart in front of like a live audience. It's really neat stuff. Myself and Ben also break down the importance of return on time and all the different exit strategies available to real estate investors. I've never seen someone break things down exactly like how Ben does. This is a really special event. If you guys are interested in finding out more about it or applying to attend, I'll throw a link in the video description down below. But otherwise, just make sure you watch that amazing Tribal Summit we did. There's literally like 16 hours of free content on my YouTube channel. So we're probably going to throw up some videos like here, maybe a video here, maybe we'll have links in the video description down below, maybe we'll do all of it. But make sure that you take some time and invest in yourself during quarantine, self-isolation, and just social distancing in general. This is the time. The people that make the most of these moments are going to reflect and see this as the time that they became themselves truly, and they really lived up to their potential. And the people that just Netflix and chilled the entire time during quarantine, they're going to go about living life normal once things go back to normal. I don't think that that's what you guys want. I don't think that that's what you want if you watch that entire conversation with Chris Rood. So I really encourage you guys, check out Cashflow Tribe Alpha, check out all the free footage we've got, and give us your feedback about Chris Rood in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video.